Hi, I'm Robert Curtis of the law firm of Foley, Bezick, Bailey & Curtis. We're located right here in Santa Barbara, California. This is our community, and the unimaginable tragedy that happened in Montecito affected our community. We are all linked in this community by this tragedy. Our law firm for over 40 years has been representing people against the largest companies in the world who have had difficulties, who have been victims of tragedies such as this. And now our legal team has filed the first 2 lawsuits against Southern California Edison for the victims of this very tragic mudslide. This video will walk you through what you need to know about the Montecito mudslide and the lawsuit against Southern California Edison. First, we'll talk about how did the Thomas Fire start. Second, we'll discuss did it cause the mudslide. Third, we'll discuss is Southern California Edison liable. Fourth, we'll discuss how insurance fits into this situation. Lastly, how can you protect your family? Let me tell you about the legal team that has been assembled to protect your interests. My firm, Foley, Bezick, Bailey & Curtis, has been practicing law in Santa Barbara for over 40 years. We've represented victims against some of the largest corporations in the United States and have recovered settlements and verdicts valued in excess of $1 billion. Another member of our team is Joseph Liebman out of Santa Barbara, California. Joseph Liebman has practiced law for over 30 years and is a notable landslide attorney. He has prosecuted land movement cases against utilities, municipalities, and cities. A member of our team is the law firm of Robertson & Associates out of Ventura, California. Mr. Robertson has been practicing law for over 32 years and has represented victims both of the Thomas Fire and of the Northridge earthquake. Throughout his career, Mr. Robertson has obtained verdicts and settlements in excess of $350 million.
Hello, I'm Alex Robertson. I'm here to explain why our team of veteran trial attorneys is confident that the evidence will prove that Southern California Edison Company is responsible for starting the Thomas Fire. We know from interviewing witnesses and our clients that the Thomas Fire had 2 starts. The first start was on an oil field service road called Onloof Canyon Road above Steckel Park in Santa Paula. The first start happened at approximately 6:28 p.m. on December 4th. The second start to the fire happened when there was a transformer which exploded about 6 miles away in Upper Ojai on a road called Koningstein Road. That transformer explosion was actually witnessed by one of our clients who was standing out on his property, looking down into Santa Paula below, wondering how long he had before he had to evacuate, when on his own street he saw the Southern California Edison transformer explode and send a shower of sparks into the vegetation, igniting it and immediately consuming his ranch and all of his neighboring ranches. We know that that evidence will prove that Southern California Edison Company started the Thomas Fire.
My name is Joseph Liebman. I am a longtime Santa Barbara resident. What caused this devastation? What caused the loss of property and the loss of life that we're going through right now in Montecito? When we look at this whole process, one event is significant. One event is the reason that I'm here talking to you today. And that event is the Thomas Fire. And what caused the Thomas Fire? We now know that the Thomas Fire was started by faulty Southern California Edison equipment. The fire rapidly burned from Ventura County up into Santa Barbara County and burned the entire Los Padres National Forest frontside mountains above Montecito, leaving slopes that were denuded of all vegetation, all organic material, leaving a hydrophobic condition on the slopes above Montecito, all the way up to Camino Cielo. So when you look at the mountains today and you think about the fact that rainwater falling on those slopes was not slowed at all, had nowhere to go except downslope, you begin to understand what happened in Montecito. The fact that the Thomas Fire destroyed the plants, the forest, the vegetation above Montecito is the reason that Montecito suffered the most devastating event in its history.
Unfortunately, one of the most difficult subjects that we have to talk about today is the tragic loss of life, where family members, through no fault of their own, lost loved ones as a result of Southern California Edison Company's negligence. For those family members, rebuilding is not only the physical structure that provides a roof over their family's head, but also dealing with the loss of their loved one, the loss of financial support, the loss of emotional support and companionship of those loved ones. We know from representing families who lost loved ones during the Northridge earthquake that this is a difficult period of time for them, and we know how to help guide them through this difficult period to make sure that their families are protected. Personal injury damages include pain and suffering, hospital expenses, loss of income during the period of their injury and recovery. For wrongful death, damages for the surviving family members include the lost earning capacity of that loved one, loss of society comfort and support, as well as funeral and burial costs. These are important rights which need to be explored. Now let's talk about your homeowner's insurance policy. Unfortunately, most people are underinsured as much as 30 to 40% of the cost to rebuild and restore their property. Items that are typically not covered by insurance are emotional distress, expensive landscaping, mature trees, and the cost to install erosion control measures to prevent future mud flows and flooding. Your homeowner's insurance carrier is only obligated to reimburse you for damage to your home from either fire or the mudslide for the amount of coverage that's listed on your policy. Now, depending on the coverage that you purchased from your insurance company, it may not be enough to fully rebuild your home according to current building codes and standards.
From an attorney standpoint, when something like this occurs, we look at what can we do to help our community? How can we best serve our clients? How can we assist people in rebuilding and starting anew? And one powerful weapon at our disposal is the legal theory called inverse condemnation. Inverse condemnation is a term that most of you have probably not heard of before. It is the flip side or the inverse of direct condemnation. Usually people refer to direct condemnation as eminent domain. We've all heard that term. Under inverse condemnation, however, you as the injured property owner have the right to recover for damages to personal and real property. Whether you're a renter, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a property owner, you have that right under the federal and state constitution. Now, why is that so important? Because under the theory of inverse condemnation, you do not need to prove fault of Edison. You do not need to prove that Edison was negligent. All that you need to show as the injured party is that the electrical system maintained, owned, and operated by Edison caused you damage. And how do you do that? All that you need to prove is that the Edison equipment caused the Thomas fire and that the massive devastation suffered by our community is causally related to that fire. And there is no dispute by experts in the field that the fire created a perfect situation that only needed a rainstorm that would then flow down onto our community. And we will prove through the experts that the most significant event in this causal chain of events was the Thomas fire that was started by Edison, that left the slopes of Montecito and the Los Padres National Forest in a denuded and dangerous condition. And the experts will testify as well that but for the fire, the devastation that we witnessed of Montecito would never have occurred. In addition to the damage to your property, the court will award recovery for attorney fees, expert fees, interest, and court costs. And those can be substantial in a case like this. And those are damages that are recoverable by you as the injured party from Edison the party responsible for causing this event.
Southern California Edison Company will hire the best lawyers they can find to try to shift blame, to try to reduce your damages, or deny liability altogether. You too are entitled to be represented by competent, experienced local counsel who have a tie to this community and have a vested interest in seeing your family protected.
We thank you for watching our video, and if we can do anything to help you or answer any of your questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can come meet with us in our offices in Santa Barbara, you can call us on the phone, or if you're unable to reach out to us, we will come to see you wherever you are.